And let's see who's on the dice roll here. And it looks like it is actually Karen with that wanted being active. That's always the best one you want to see compared to Diabell Star. You know, it just offers you an extra draw because, well, that's the cool bonus grave effect you get with it.
Do you reckon it's a draw phase activation?
I've never been a fan of activating in the draw phase, right? Because you're just telling your opponent that you have it at that. I suppose if it's your only starter and you don't have Poplar or Ash, using it in the draw phase is pretty good because it obviously is the circumventing of Droll and Lockbird is really what you're looking for. Okay, pitch Bell is not the best way to start, but it's good enough. Setting another wanted there, okay, interesting.
So I guess if you're Dean, you kind of thinking maybe the original is already in hand, and there it is.
All right, so just beginning off with the original combo line here, going to go for that Ash, and this is probably going to be quite vulnerable to any kind of disruption, but Dean doesn't appear to have anything just about yet.
Yeah, he's given the thumbs up. Probably quite happy if you're Karen, because sometimes you have those hands where you don't have that many ways to push through interruptions, and you just draw it, and you just have to go for it, and sometimes it just works out anyway, and it looks like in this case it has.
Field Spell is a really cool tool in the Snake Eye deck. I think that one of the ways that I feel like I've been identifying a lot of the mastery of the deck has been full utilization of the Field Spell, right? Because offering you that kind of Nibiru, anti-Nibiru setup, where when you scale like the Flamberge or the Oak, should your opponent bring down anything on your turn, you get that special summon effect.
Yeah, it's a really nice kind of anti-Nibiru technology, isn't it? Because then you still have two monsters even after being hit with Nibiru, and then you can kind of carry on, maybe make a heater if your opponent's played Nash, something like that, and then link up into the Promethean Princess that way.
And you saw that Karen actually put up the Oak to begin with, and that's usually like a nice way to help you keep playing as well should anything come down here. But we've got the Flamberge in the Spell and Trap Zone triggering its Grave effect as well in the process, with Poplar placing the Snake Eye Flamberge in the Spell and Trap Zone. So that's great setup for your opponent's turn. And from here, well, you get that effect of the Oak that you sent from the field to then bring back essentially 3 monsters altogether just with that linking off of the Flamberge. And it looks like we're going to go for a 3 material link 4 summon of the Apollousa.
Yeah, I quite like this line from Karen here. So you can see, as you were mentioning, like it plays around Nibiru, because if your opponent summons Nibiru, then you still get to summon Flamberge out with the field spell. But now you can just use the Oak to summon a Flamberge anyway once you've set up the Apollousa to protect you from Nibiru. So there was no way Nibiru could stop you getting to the Flamberge there.
Yeah, really strong setup here as well. Of course, you get the on-field effect of the Flamberge, which is going to be able to place the Masquerena from the graveyard here, so offering you a lot more disruption on your opponent's turn. 3 material Apollousa, so that's 3 monster negates, as well as linking off with the Flamberge, bringing back 2 guys from the graveyard, getting you 2 searches, and on top of that, most likely going to be going into something like an SP on your opponent's turn. And there's also the bonus wanted grave effect there.
You can't use both effects, can you?
Wanted? Yeah, you can.
You can use both effects in the same turn?
Yeah, I think so.
That's pretty good.
All right, and it looks like there's the full setup here. Dean is now going to draw for turn, up to 6 cards here. Checking out his deck list here, he is playing a couple of hand traps, but didn't appear to draw any here, so that's a little bit unfortunate.
Unless you count Saravis as a hand trap.
There's some targeting protection there. All right, that's one of the starters you're going to have in your hand here. This is the barrier. Voiceless Voice is, yeah, as we kind of mentioned before, sort of the second best deck of the format. You know, there's a couple of options that you can opt to play for, right? You've really got Voiceless and basically any kind of other shifter deck, right? You've got like Floowandereeze, you've got Kashtira that's been doing well. Won actually my local regional last month was Kashtira getting first place. So that's an option as well. Looks like we're going for the Skull Guardian here, not the OG one, of course.
No, I mean, that would be very cool if there was, some of the...
There's a way to use that.
Yeah, some of the support, like, for example, Blue Eyes encourages you to play the original Blue Eyes in your deck, but I don't think the, the Voiceless Voice encourage you to play the original Ritual monsters.
Bunch of engine here, which is pretty strong. We're sending the Saphira from the hand here, the new Saphira, the main deck one. So it's a really cool kind of deck in that sense that you're utilizing a lot of these older kind of Ritual monsters. You do actually play the original Soravius. But then there's also like these kind of retrains. You got the main deck Soravis, you got the main deck Saphira. Do we play like the Ritual Saphira? I don't think you actually play the Ritual Saphira.
I haven't seen anyone play it, but the main deck, well, the non-ritual monster is more than good enough. It's got 2 very powerful effects, and so that's two clocks of the Appaloosa.
Yeah, it's really, really rough playing into Apollosa specifically with Voiceless Voice. Normally, you can kind of deal with things like the Masquerena, the destruction effect of the Promethean Princess, but Apollosa is like really, really rough because yeah, you are kind of relying on a bunch of monster effects to really get your engine going.
So here we see Dean just normally activating the ritual spell. So he's already tried to ritual summon with the Saphira, but now he has to do it the old-fashioned way with the ritual spell. Is he going to have the low? We don't.
Oh, he's drawn the Hierarchia from the hand here. Yeah, so that's the one of that you don't really want to see. It's not too bad to draw because yeah, you can distribute it and get the effect off. And again, like there's the last and final effect of the Apollosa preventing that. So typically that's sent from the deck to the graveyard using the Diviner of the Herald. Sometimes you just draw the 1 instead of the 3, right?
Yeah, exactly. No good. You gotta. Does he have the normal summon of low or herald maybe to follow up? I mean, but imagine if he had the low, he would have attributed it for the ritual
Yeah, or
summon.
like actually led with it, which is really unfortunate. I don't think Skull Guardian gets the bonus boost or anything here as well either because we don't have low on field.
Yeah, it would get an extra 2,050 attack, which is quite a lot to consider when your opponent's got 0 attack. Appaloosa.
Yeah, when you get to go first with Voiceless Voice, you have like such a huge amount of like protection as well offered from the deck. I think the trap card makes it so that you can't be like targeted and they can't attack anything except like your biggest ritual. So it's a good way to protect low and just insulate yourself from a lot of the disruption and your opponent trying to play into your field here. But yeah, no protection offered here as it looks like Karen is going to go into that IP-SP play. Really powerful on the opponent's turn. It's good going second card as well. I do love SP. It's been a huge inclusion in basically every single deck in the game.
Yeah, I feel like it's probably one of the highest hit rate. Almost every extra deck, there's almost no reason not to have it. It's so generic, so powerful. Also going to get some level 1s back into play. So the Linkuriboh that's in the graveyard can come back and protect you from taking a ton of damage.
Yeah, that's the really amazing thing about Linkuriboh. It's such a kind of basic monster, but it offers you so much in the way of utility. You have that battle protection, which is really, really strong when you're setting up that big Apollosa, when you have Masquerena on the field to prevent your opponent from attacking, and also dodging various targeting effects like Impermanent Veiler with the quick effect Tribute from the graveyard. So it really does so much here.
I feel like it's living up to the legacy of the original Kuriboh as well by protecting you from taking battle damage.
Yeah, I mean that is the theme. It's pretty cool in that way, which is like actually super relevant in the modern game. So cool to see Linkuriboh just being. I mean, all Link ones in general have been pretty prominent in the metagame over the years, right? You got Almirage as well, which has been really important as well. But that's going to be enough from Dean here, realizing that that is just not mathematician. I think you've got some specific numbers in mind when you're trying to get as much randomness as possible, huh?
Well, no, just so
True randomness doesn't exist, right?
Exactly,
So-
but it's easy to count to 40 when you've got 8 because you just know that you should end in the opposite place from where you started.
Yeah. All right, Dean's going to go first here. Let's see if we've got a Diviner or Low to lead with right now. Okay, pre-prep. Usually kind of like the best card to start with if you're trying to play around Droll and Lockbird and Voiceless Voice. Just getting those 2 adds immediately is pretty strong. Droll and Lockbird is a huge card that's quite bad for Voiceless Voice to play through just with the nature of Ritual Monsters summoning. But it doesn't look like that card is actually in Karen's deck list. Droll Lockbird has saw a little bit of play going in and out of the format currently. Again, it's just a case of like, you just need as much disruption as possible right now, so why not throw in Droll into a format where there's a decent amount of searching?
Yeah, it really depends on what's what at the moment. Drawn Lockbird, always going in and out of play.
Yeah, attributing the low here with the, I like to refer to it as like the Shuret style effect from Necros back in the day where it just uses itself as the full entire tribute here.
Yeah, it's very reminiscent of Shuret because you get to summon itself back from the graveyard and then get a search afterwards rather than just getting a search straight away. So it's a bit of an upgrade almost to Shuret, which is crazy to think of when you think of how good Shuret was.
Yeah.
Dean just ordering his chain link, so you're going to get 1 search off of Skull Guardian and then a summon off of Low. So it's always nice to put the summon second, and that way you cannot have your search negated by Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring.
Yeah, I think ashing the pre-prep is always like a safe bet, but there's just like so many ways to keep playing. You know, when you haven't committed to your normal summon, you've still got your barrier ad. A lot of ways to just keep your deck's consistency up with Voiceless Voice, which I think is maybe one of the things that like the deck offers you compared to other decks is like it is pretty consistent. Um, but you know, Snake Eye as well does offer a lot of consistency in its own right as well.
Yeah, it's an interesting deck, Voiceless Voice, because sometimes with decks that are centered around one particular card, it can be difficult. You can often have lots of ways to get to it, and you might be like robust to pushing through interruptions. But then when you do have this giant engine and your opponent doesn't have any interruptions, then you don't actually set up any bonus stuff. What's
That's
that?
really strong here. That Ghost Mourner is activated from the hand of Karen. So, yeah, this is. Oh, okay. Wow. He didn't ash the pre-prep, actually. That's interesting. All right.
So how did the low not come back? Maybe there was some misordering of chains from Dean. I'm not sure, but this is definitely not.
Oh, wow. Just a
Ideal for
pass
Dean.
here. Okay. Wow. 2 hand traps. Yeah, it does prevent the Voiceless Voice from playing. It looks like we can't even. We didn't even draw like the trap. Okay, right. We've also got like the starter. Don't you love to see that?
Yeah.
2 disruptions on the starter.
Yeah,
That's
Karen
great.
knows what he's on about.
Yeah, Snake Eye, Ash for Poplar, and well, we don't have the negate of Guardian live, do we? Because
No,
you need low in the field
yeah,
for
you
that?
need low in play. So I don't know. I mean, maybe Dean's last couple of cards are some hand traps to try and disrupt Karen, but I don't know what they could be at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I think you would probably still keep them going in, even if you're going first in terms of your side deck. But we did mention, you know, there's a lot of like trap cards in here that's being played. So I guess we just didn't get to really see any of them. I do quite like that he's setting a lot of extra deck monsters. That's always really cool to see with the utility that it's offered sometimes.
Yeah,
But
I'm
yeah.
always quite fond of siding extra deck monsters because, you know, if you side a main deck card, there's always the chance that you don't get to draw it, right? Whereas siding an extra deck monster, it's there for you when you need it. They're your best friends, extra deck monsters.
Yeah, seeing Abyss Dweller pop in and out of people's side decks as well has been a popular thing over the course of the last few years. So there's always weighing utility. Something that players can underutilize is the side deck with regards to the extra deck monsters. So
The only downside was trying to figure out how to sort out your sleeves situation. Like, I always have my side deck. You obviously want your side deck to have the same sleeves as your
Yeah.
main deck, but then the extra deck often has different sleeves. So
and it's also very telling mid game when your opponent just starts like swapping sleeves over. Like, huh, what are you doing back there?
yeah,
Like, really love that he's got Ultimate Slayer in this extra deck. Probably not going to bring that in just now, but that's a card that's saw a decent amount of popularity. I thought it was going to be crazier than it actually has been, but there's been some deck lists running Ultimate Slayer
I guess it depends because you need to have a lot of room in your
in your extra deck. Yeah,
deck
it
to
really
be able to use
favors like
Ultimate Slayer.
archetypes that can play like multiple different extra deck monster types.
And yeah, I guess it's also decks that just don't require the extra deck. Well, the players are going back quite a long way, so maybe that low is actually going to come out.
Yeah, so he should have had that low, right?
Okay. I was wondering if he just maybe didn't declare it properly, but it seems like he did declare it, and maybe we're going to rewind to where the low should have been summoned. That's what I'm thinking is going on here. Okay, that does look like it's going to be the case. And this is going to be like night and day, the difference here. Because like having a low in field, low has been placed onto the field. Does Ghost Mourner, the negation, does it last forever or does it last until the end of the turn? Do you
I
know?
believe it's until the end of the turn.
Because that's quite important as well.
Yeah, no, I'm sure it's until the end of the turn. If you ever send it off the field as well, there's the burn effect, which is sometimes can come up.
Yeah. Who needs to play Spooky Dogwood when you can just play Ghost Mourner?
Same thing. Spooky Dogwood is a card that I'm wondering if we'll see a decent amount of this weekend. You know, there's all kinds of utilizations for end of time procedures, and players have come up with a multitude of different ways to deal with longer rounds.
Yeah, it's interesting because I feel like a lot of cards, people will look at other players' deck lists and decide what, we'll take information about what works well and what doesn't. But I feel like Spooky Dogwood is a card specifically, because you want to use it when it's close to the end of time. So you want to, it depends on your own playing style, because some players like to play quite quickly. Like I myself, going to tournaments would almost never go to timeout because I think I played quite quickly.
Okay.
And but other people end up in time a lot because they like to take their time a bit more. And I also concede games if I don't think I'm going to win them. So.
You're just better, right?
Huh?
Is that what you're telling us?
No, I don't think it's better or worse. Like at the end of the day, the aim is to win. But
It's interesting you mentioned, because like, I think that sometimes one of the things that players falter with a lot is not understanding when it's time to just kind of pack it in and then kind of lose the battle, win the war type of thing, right? And I think it's one of those skills that you get with just a lot of like tournament practice, recognizing that there's a lot of duels you can play where you can keep playing, but the ultimate end result is probably a loss, right? So knowing when it's time to pack it in, go first for game 3, and getting an advantage that way is obviously a huge thing here.
yeah, it's tricky because it's different again when you're just playing with your friends. Often and like testing, you won't have a clock, so it's something that will behave differently in a tournament versus when you're just practicing. So yeah, and again, like one of the advantages in a tournament of conceding earlier is you don't tell your opponent what you're playing. But obviously, if you're playing with your friend, they'll know. So.
All right, so I think what's going on here is the Mourner came down, and then I guess because now you have the low on the field, you can actually negate the Mourner and then continue to get the trap card here, and obviously you still have that barrier in place. So I think this is roughly where we should be right now.
I'm a bit confused though, because you wouldn't be able to negate Mourner with Skull Guardian, right? Because it would have been...
Yeah, it would have been chaining to
low wouldn't have been in play.
Yeah,
by that
exactly.
Time. But here we are. We've rewound to here. I'm not super familiar with the ritual pendulum. I do like the mix of mechanics between ritual and pendulum, but I'm not sure what it's about to do.
Are you referring to the pendulum graph?
Yeah.
So it's a spell and trap negate.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so you can, I guess the terminology would be like, I don't think it's a ritual summon. I think it just special summons a ritual monster out of your deck when you use the Cerevis. And then it can get you the Odd Eyes Pendulum Graph. An Odd Eyes Pendulum Graph, when you bring it out with the Voiceless voice deck, it's, has that ability to just special summon it, and then it just gives you a spell and trap negate on your opponent's turn.
Is that allowed, though? Because I thought it had a restriction that said it could only be...
No.
Okay.
I think some cards must, be summoned in specific ways, but usually a lot of them are just... you can just summon it if it specifically says so. Okay, here we go. So, finally beginning that turn number 2 here.
I like that's a firm negate from Dean. Some players like to think about when to, sometimes hold on, just be like, no, that's the best card in your deck. I'm just going to negate it straight away. So here we see Dival Star. Gonna again presumably search out the original.
Insta negate on that Ash, I mean, sometimes it is best to just, put them on better have the extender, which Karen actually does here. He's got the Black Star.
I quite like negating it, because at the end of the day, if you just let them keep doing what they were doing with Ash, that negation is going to get forced out anyway, so you might as well just negate the Ash. It also has the bonus effect of destroying the Ash, which is pretty big. If you just negate it with an effect veiler or whatever, it's still on the field, can be used as a link material or something like that.
I think that's the most important thing, is that the body removing is the best part of it, because while you can prevent Ash with something like an Ash Blossom, they still potentially could get the second effect off. So when you actually remove it from the field, then it kind of insulates you a little bit better that way.
Well, you do have to remember if you get Impermed or Veiler that doesn't work.
Yeah, Impermed or Veiler specifically isn't going to work, but Ash Blossom. Oh wow, DD Crow can. Okay, so it's funny because Oak can still bring back banished monsters, but when it changes location, it essentially becomes a new card. So DD Crow does actually work really well here against Oak.
Yeah, that's one of the more confusing rules in Yu-Gi-Oh! Sometimes. I feel like
movement of locations become new cards.
Yeah, because I had a discussion with someone about Cosmic Cyclone, because if you activate Cosmic Cyclone, your opponent chains Flamberge or something. It's well, it's still targeted it, and it's no, it's a new card now. So I was like, okay.
I found that out the hard way playing against Centurion. It was a deck that utilized that mechanic a lot, right? Swapping in and out between spell and trap zone to monster zone, things becoming different monsters here. So, all right, that's pretty cool. We've got the Cerevis out onto the field here now. The main deck version of Cerevis. So putting in a lot of work here. I mean, that trap card is also still alive as well with the destruction effect if we want to use that too. And we're obviously well protected with the Skull Guardian being the only monster that can be attacked here. I believe because of the trap card here. It's pretty rough for Karen here because I don't think. Yeah, wow, yeah, he was just gonna pick up his cards. All right, that's ready for this penultimate final duel of their round one. It's been a bit of a slog here, and normally round one is supposed to be the warm-up match, but they're had quite an intense duel so far, as it looks like Karen's opened a very similar hand to game number one here with the Wanteds. The best portion between Black Star and the Wanted with the bonus draw effect here. Not sure which phase he's used it in, but you know, I assume if he's
If it's your first action, there's no reason for it to be anything other than the draw phase.
yeah.
Do you think Dean knows he's playing the winner of the previous UK Open? I was wondering, because if there's a YCS winner, you definitely know who they are, right? But maybe a UK Open winner might fly a bit more under the radar.
When was Manchester? November, right? Yeah. Okay. This is exactly the same opening as game one, by the way. Like specifically
I
discarding
remember,
black. Yeah. Okay.
Oh no, he's
okay. We haven't opened the
now.
original.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. A little bit stronger, I suppose. I like starting with Ash as my normal summon. So assuming he's doing it in a similar way, I would assume that we just don't have access to it here. All right. This is a really clutch moment here when you send for the cost of Original Sin. Do we have a disruption? It doesn't look like it. Okay.
That does feel like a peak moment to activate an Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring if you have it.
Okay, Infinite Impermanence is pretty strong here. Personally, I like, if I have Imperm, I like to use it on Diabellstar personally.
Yeah, you're more of a fan of that?
Yeah, I just think that it's generally, I feel better if you have a good normal summon. You just lead with the normal summon, and Blackstar is your best follow-up here. But, okay, I think we opened Oak last... No, we scaled the Oak last time here. But Oak as our normal summon is really good here, because you get to bring back the Ash, and the second effect of Ash is live, because we didn't use that this turn. We only used the on-summon search effect, so we can still access Flamberge here with both either Oak or Ash right now.
Yeah, that's really important, and we can play around. If you send the Linkuriboh for cost, then you can play around an Effect Veiler, which is very cool.
Yeah, no, that's going to be another tool available to Karen if he sends off this Linkuriboh. So I think in his mind, he might be trying to consider what the next play is that's healthiest into Nibiru, most likely, right? Because that's quite a popular hand trap this format, and I suppose like round one, you don't really know what kind of cards your opponent could be on here.
It's definitely something you get hit by once, the Linkuriboh, to play around something, and then you try and make sure it never happens to you again, because it's quite devastating.
So bringing out the Poplar here, which is going to scale most likely Flamberge right now. And from here, you still have Oak's effect, which is live.
You think Dean is playing it cool and is about to be the most devastating Nibiru of Karen's career?
Generally, like, the best point is always on the resolution of Flamberge, right? Because the way you play through Nibiru is by having the float effect. So using it here in the graveyard, this would be a very opportune time to go for it, but not actually sure if he's even playing it, but obviously Karen doesn't know that, and he's just trying to be as efficient as possible into it. Alright, that's the special summon back of two of the bodies from the graveyard here, and now you can kind of just go through your Princess Mask line.
Yeah, it does look like it's going to get everything he needs for Karen.
Nibiru is a bit of a strange card, I think. It's probably not something I'd play in Voiceless Voice, because I just don't think you have the room for like that many hand traps. Because I think Nibiru is quite poor. I don't think it's very great, but it's really good when you pair it, I think, is when it's really, really powerful. So just Nibiru by itself, I think, actually just, assuming you play it correctly in Snake Eye, is like almost kind of irrelevant sometimes it can feel.
Yeah, I think players are definitely wise up to it now. They're always thinking about Nibiru, so but sometimes if you have one extra hand trap, you can force your opponent to play into it in a suboptimal way. Like we saw, like there was that one impermanence, and then all of a sudden it became almost impossible for Karen to play around Nibiru.
Alright, what is our link of choice here? Remember, we're locked into fire monsters here. Okay, we're just going to go for the Pyro Phoenix Zelantis, just to clear the fire restriction of Princess here.
I like the fact it just fancy way of moving zones.
It didn't even pick up the Flamberge there. So yeah, Zelantis is a way to reset the field here.
Yeah, it's nice to put it in one of the main monster zones, because then when you summon SP, most likely, on your opponent's turn, then if your opponent is foolish enough to enter the battle phase, then you actually get to destroy 2 cards with the Zelantis.
Yeah, co-link up to number of monsters co-linked for the destruction of Zelantis in the battle phase. So even more ways to protect your field. Link Karibo as well. We talked a little bit about a lot as well, but Zelantis turn 1, not really something you see often, but forced into an awkward position just because of the fire lock of Princess.
Yeah, well, if a Princess didn't do that, it would just be even more powerful.
Yeah, well,
like, it's so strong
I
anyway,
don't think she
isn't
needs
it?
any more buffs.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got Barrier. That's a good start, at least. I think Dean's going to have a much better time compared to Game 1 here, just because I think Apollosa is just really, really rough for the deck, but doesn't have to contend with it this game.
Yeah, I don't know if there's any, like, powerful blowout cards he's got going second that's not just hand traps, so I guess he's going to have to work with his own engine. So I guess searching the Seravis is probably an indicator that he's got all of the engine that he wants in his hand, right? Because that's not the highest priority card to have in your hand when you could be searching something like Saphira.
Yeah, I can see there's a low there as well, which is really strong. So giving yourself targeting protection from something like SP could be pretty strong. Okay, that's a really good start as well. We got Diviner here. That's gonna go for the Hierarchia, but you've also got like other utility options, of course, from the extra deck, which is kind of expecting why why Dean's also playing Ultimate Slayer, for example. You do have like a bit of a toolbox usage from sending from the extra, but most notably as well the powerful ability to special summon from the deck with Hierarchy is really good.
It's not so important. If you've already got the low in your hand, like, you might as well just send a Elder Entity instead.
Okay, there's the effect Veiler. So we've got Chainlink 1 Diviner, 2 Field Spell to summon, and now 3. And we've hard drawn the Hierarchy. That's crazy powerful. Okay, so we can dodge the effect Veiler essentially here.
Is that a quick effect to tribute it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's very cool. We also knew that there was the Seravis too, but I guess didn't need it.
Yeah, so he gets to hold the Seravis for even longer now, which is really powerful because I think the best card that you want to protect from is going to be SP.
Yeah, but I don't think that's going to be possible, right? Because the SP trigger can be hidden behind a Flamberge effect.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Yeah, you can actually mask it if you need.
You can mask the SP. Was that intentional?
Never thought of it, actually. It's interesting to note that he brought out the Masquerena with the field spell rather than the Flamberge effect. Do you think maybe he's trying to sort of play around triple tactics as best as he can,
Well,
not using any monster effects?
Like it's habitual, I think, to use the field spell first because Flamberge is a quick effect. So this way it plays around Cosmic Cyclone. But Cosmic Cyclone, I don't think anyone is playing anymore because for exactly this reason.
Okay, all right. So sending you did mention sending the entity there was probably just better, but that was a very clutch summon limit we've just hit right now.
Yeah, I don't know if this was intentional, but the chain links has worked out perfectly, right? So if they'd gone in the other order, then the summon link could have been chain link 3, and then the summon would have stopped because there's already been 2 summons. But maybe he put the destruction effect as chain link 2, which is a pretty crazy thing to do.
So if you just flipped summon limit in response to the hierarchy on the hand, you think that would have been better?
It doesn't make a difference, right? Because you can always just chain it to the effect of.
Okay, here comes the targeting protection here of the Seravis.
Oh, that's very cool because it keeps the princess in the graveyard. Well, for a minute longer. Is it SP time?
Yeah, I was going to say, using the princess early there felt a little bit odd, right? Because you don't want to get yourself fire locked too early. But we are going to link for the SP Little Knight now, as the trap card gets placed up on resolution.
Yeah, the trap from low can be quite difficult sometimes when there's a lot of chains happening all in one go. Like one thing triggers a bunch more things, and to keep track of what's going on when. Sadly, not playing on Master Duel, so
Yeah, buttons aren't going for Dean right now.
It doesn't keep you like in the chain that you're in. You actually have to remember yourself. It can be a bit complicated.
Yeah, no, this is sometimes as complex as it can get with players having to like manage their trigger effects versus turn player and non-turn player taking priority.
I mean, it's not quite Tillemans, but
Of course, you know, we're not dropping.
we're not up to chain link 10.
Yeah,
So there's the low being banished.
yeah, that's pretty powerful, denying any recursion in the future. And also Flamberge 2 does get to revive 2 more monsters back from the graveyard here.
And Oak can actually add.
Yeah, it's
From the
really
grave to
funny
the
that
hand.
you can revive with Oak, but you can also just add back. So we can get that Ash from the grave for next turn as well.
If you really want to mess around, you can just add Poplar to your hand, and then because Poplar was added to your hand, you can special summon it.
Yeah, keep
There
me.
you go. Rather than just summon it to the field, you know, you can just add it to your hand first,
Yeah.
and then summon it.
Sometimes it can be a little bit dangerous with this deck because it's really funny that you can actually just get Nibiru'd on your opponent's turn.
That's true. There's probably been 5 summons.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever done that. I don't think I've ever played Nibiru on my own turn.
I've seen it quite a lot actually at the Macedo Invitational in Spain. It was twice I think we saw it happen. It's pretty crazy. Just offers, or rather, that's what you see, right, in the power of Snake Eye, just the ability to just do so much constantly all the time, even on your opponent's turn.
So is Dean playing Typhon in his extra deck?
He should be, right? I feel like you should be.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah. So we did go into our extra deck 2+ times on the previous turn. And that's definitely going to be a decent option here. I think that should basically be everything that Karen has to offer right now. Unless we've also got a hand trap back there as well, then this might just be everything that Karen has to offer here. And now Dean can
I thought
try
his
to keep playing.
hand was empty with the exception of the Effect Veiler that he's already played.
So he's got back 1 from Oak, 1 from Poplar, and there's a 3rd card in
Yeah,
hand,
I'm wondering
right?
where the 3rd card came from, so maybe his hand wasn't actually empty before.
I'm just wondering if, like, the SP should have maybe triggered at some point, because now this is a bit of a risky position.
Well, you can trigger the SP now, right, if you want to. But it's nice to keep it on the field, because that stops your opponent from entering their battle phase.
Yeah, that's true. The battle protection is strong. And, okay, last card in hand's another Veiler. Ooh, that is, that's actually pretty clutch here. Yeah, I just think that maybe if SP hit the Hierarchia a little bit sooner, you would have denied some fodder there for the Ritual Summon. And Lowe's going to come back here on the opponent's turn. Sorry, on Dean's turn here.
Has Low not already come back? Or
Yeah.
no, maybe the first one was actually from the Diviner. So now it's coming back for its own effect. So we could force out the SP now with a relinquished Anima. Not that it does a lot, but it's quite fun, you know? I don't think... I'll have to double check all of the targeting protection. But I don't think Zelantis actually targets anything. So...
For the battle phase effect?
Yeah.
No, it's non-targeting.
So the non-targeting protection is not super helpful.
Okay, so it looks like we're going to bring out Link Karibo here. This might be start step battle phase? No, I don't think so, right? Because you would just use the Zelantis. Well, maybe you don't want to use the Zelantis just yet because of the
I thought Karim was
Skull Guardian.
just pointing to the Zelantis, yeah.
Okay, wow, no, we are going to use it here. Start a battle phase, co-linked for 2. And destroying low and the trap card here. Did we use our Skull Guardian negate?
I did Skull Guardian got Effect Veiled, so...
Ah, yeah, of course, before the low came down. So, yeah, we wouldn't be able to protect from that. Oh, wow. No, Karen's got him in a really bad spot here. Yeah, wow. That last Veiler in hand, I think, has actually potentially sealed it for Karen. That was really important. And yeah, the effect negation for the whole turn here just means you just have this Hierarchia sitting on the field, and then you're passing turn, and that's
Oh, that was the SP. It banished the Hierarchia and the Flamberge.
okay. So yeah, we did do that with the SP. Okay, we used it like I guess on the next chain, and then from here, yeah, you get your Hierarchia back, but you also get your Flamberge back, and okay, that's really cool. Just immediate action. In main phase 1, we're gonna go Flamberge, place the Skull Guardian.
Yeah, it's such a versatile effect, isn't it? You can get something back from your grave, or you can just remove an opponent's monster, all in one effect. What to set that face down?
Yeah, how? I'm curious. Okay. All right. Well, I think SP was using. No. Okay. Right. No. Yeah, we're just doing this in for the OTK
Maybe it
here,
was
and there it is.
Zelantis,
There's the
yeah.
the Pyro Phoenix combination with the Zelantis.